I go to a school that is rather more demanding when it is compared to other schools that are in my local area. Now, it is not that too demanding in the first half year, but in the second half year, oh boy. There are stuff like graduations, there's a lot of break weeks, there's a lot of holidays that we're gonna take. And so, yeah, that means that we write exams each and every single week, most of the times, even each and every single day, and especially exams from my mother tongue. Yeah, those comes a lot more often than you would think they would come. I live in a country where we very value the education system, although it is not totally authentic to my goals in life. It still can be pretty useful to the people around me. Like, I'm not judging anything. It is still very useful. It is just that I don't prefer it since it is not a part of how I will become successful, but whatever, I still go there. I still like the people around me. I still treat everyone nicely in there. So yeah, until I don't prove to my parents that I can make it, yeah, I'm still gonna go there. It's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll just use that time for something else, for my inner thoughts and stuff like that. That's why most of my video ideas actually come from school itself, because it is a perfect place for me to just sit down. And yeah, sure, I still pay attention in class. Don't get me wrong, but I still have a lot of time just to think about my inner thoughts, to digest the information that I learned from books the day prior, or from the long form educational videos, if you wish. But basically, yeah. One of these new exams that we're gonna write was about these seven logical systems or whatever. Basically, seven ways of logical thinking. Yeah, that's what I think it was. And it was a very easy theory to learn, actually. There were just like these seven things that we had to learn, and that was about it. And then after that, we are gonna just write the exam. Like, of course, it was still very easy, don't get me wrong. But let me tell you, I used a new, overpowered method that I just discovered like 3 weeks prior. That just completely made a game changer in all of this. Like, let me tell you, bro. Sure, I was studying for this test like only a couple of weeks ago as of recording this video. And yeah, we also later uh, heavily, rehearsed the entire theory. So don't get me wrong, I still remember a bunch of it. But let me tell you, I'm very confident that this will genuinely stay with me for months. Otherwise, with anything else that I learn on Slovakian language, which is my mother tongue, when it comes to stuff like literature and other theories, let me tell you, this one this one time where I use this method, this just stands out amongst the crowd. I know that I will remember this for a long ass time. And so, just to prove to you, I'm gonna name like five of them right now. I tried to I was rehearsing them like before recording this video so that I wouldn't waste your time, of course. So here we go. We have stuff like induction, deduction, argumentation, generalization, comparison, and those other two, I don't remember them. But yeah, I still remember them greatly. And so how did I do it? What was the method that I used? Well, the best technique that can ever work for you when it comes to learning is yourself. Now, I know that may sound wishy washy to you. Like, what do you mean, TR? But isn't there like a specific thing, like a specific set of things that I can follow in order to remember it? Calm down. It's all gonna make sense. The most important thing of how you're actually learning it is that it gets drilled into your subconscious mind. Right? Right? Your conscious mind cannot remember all the information that has happened in your life constantly. Right? You can only think of like seven things at once, and that's about it. And here's the kicker: your subconscious mind actually remembers everything that happened to you in your entire life. But here's the thing: yeah, sure, it does remember everything, but those memories that hold the most amounts of emotional charge are the ones that stick out there the most, and those are the ones that come back to you, to your conscious mind, a lot more easier and a lot more often than those that have no that have genuinely just no emotional charge whatsoever. That can be like you sitting on the toilet, I don't know, you watching some kind of a YouTube video, and it is the part where they just talk about nothing, and yeah, you're just sitting there, yeah. And compared to something very traumatic that happened to you in the past, or something very joyful, like a big accomplishment, of course, these two right here are gonna stand out the most because they have the biggest emotional charge out there. And so, by that logic, what do you think that we should do in order to study for anything fast? Well, it is to use emotion in order to penetrate our subconscious mind and directly put it into there, literally, whilst reading it. That's literally how I felt. I only had to study the theory for like 10 minutes, and I was reading it. And I don't know why, but I just made myself feel so much joy whilst reading it. So much of these positive emotions. Like, I was just reading it with so much happiness in my soul. And yeah, I just remembered like basically all of it. Now, the only reason why I didn't remember the two logical ways of thinking was because, yeah, I, I was basically preparing myself that we were gonna write the exam right then and there, but yeah, the teacher, she basically like ended up doing something else, and yeah, I eventually forgot two of those. But that doesn't matter. I still have like 70% win rate, right? Oh, and by the way, if you want to learn more about this, how you can take control of your ego, your mind, and your reality, on how you can level up as a man when it comes to discipline, resiliency, willpower, productivity, and all of these good things, then you can check out Timeless Readers Mindsets in the description. It will completely change your life for the better. I have helped numerous amounts of people in the past just achieve their life goals and get on a better path in life. So yeah, and here's even the more niche down part that I want you to think about. Each and every single one of us is physically unique to this world, and we have our own experiences, we have our own preferences, and I want you to basically look for that one person that has influenced you the most in your early childhood. I'm talking like from 4 years down. I'm talking like to your very early days, before you even went to kindergarten in the first place, before the education system even had a grasp on you. How was that person teaching you? Who was that person even in the first place? It can be your mom, it can be your dad, it can be your grandparents, it can be, I don't know, some kind of a YouTuber. It can be some kind of a guy that was very famous in your local area, and everybody loved him. And he taught you a lot because he was a good family friend of yours and of your entire family, to be exact. Well, to me, those were actually YouTubers. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love my mom. She spent a lot of time with me, like rehearsing all of these songs back in the day, like all these children's songs. She spent a lot of time with me before I went to kindergarten. So don't get me wrong, I still learned a lot from her. But yeah, YouTubers, they really carried the boat, because I remember to this day watching Plants vs Zombies videos, and they were basically saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, now we're gonna take the nut and we're gonna place him right over there so that the zombies cannot pass." They were explaining it in such simple terms, and they were changing the frequency of their voices from this, like, yeah, we're gonna collect this uh sun right over here, and then suddenly they would change it to something like, "Oh, watch out, the zombies are coming." you know they were changing the emotional charge, they were exaggerating everything, but still, those moments right there are the ones that authentically bring out the most amounts of emotion inside of me, that invoke the most amounts of emotional charge within inside of me. And that's exactly what I did. So when I was reading about induction, for example, I was just thinking to myself stuff like, oh yeah, first one is induction. The the end result of induction is uh, synthesization, because it is putting small parts together to form a greater whole. That was literally how I was explaining it to myself, as I was that one YouTuber that was explaining it to my inner child, and it worked wonders for me. Otherwise, I would have been just reading it like, oh yeah, induction is basically putting smaller parts together to create a bigger whole. The end result is synthesization. Yeah, whatever. Deduction is the opposite of induction. It is breaking down that whole part into smaller parts, and the end result is analyzation. Yeah, whatever. Like that just makes you resonate it inside of your subconscious mind way more easier. And this is the game right here. When you combine this highly emotional charge, and when you invoke so much emotion inside of yourself, and when you channel it through this one way that this one person was teaching it to you when you were in your early childhood years, when you put all of these together, they literally go hand in hand perfectly. And yeah, you'll be able to learn any kind of theory and any kind of subject within a fraction of the time that it would take you if you felt just no emotion in it and no joy, actually. And if you just went there thinking that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be disciplined, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna just complete it, and yeah, I'm gonna move on with my day. No, my timeless reader. You actually need to put some effort into it, because we always put 100% of our entire focus on the activity that is in front of us. Okay? So yeah, this is how it works. Just invoke the emotion inside of you and find that one person that always used to just always used to teach you a lot. And yeah, find the way that they used to explain it to you and channel those emotions through that technique so that it resonates with you like literally 100x. Now, you can only use emotions, that's completely fine, and that will work. But I'm telling you, when you apply it with the technique of that one person that really resonated with you in the past and that taught you a lot, like for example, those YouTubers are the reasons why I know English in the first place, an entire different language. So they didn't just taught me about some random video games bullshit. They also taught me a lot of useful things. So yeah, it will literally get tenfolded, and you will be literally 100 times more productive than if you just went there with just discipline alone. Think about how much more effective you will be, not just with the education system, but learning in general, rehearsing the notes, the theories, all of these things, not just for school, but your driving lessons, your Italian speaking skills, your martial arts training, whatever. It can be anything. So this is how you do it. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you